What is up, guys? How we doing? So, man, I got some weird information today about the chaplain who takes care of the riders in Supercross and Motocross. And this is a lot of theoretical. I still need to talk to the chaplain. And by the way, you know who you are. I'm trying to get your number right now. If you want to, just reach out to me on Instagram. I would love to talk to you and find out your take on the situation. Maybe I got it all wrong, but I don't think I do. And every once in a while, I go into current events, and these LA riots have pissed me off. After I talk about MX Sports, Feld, and the chaplain, I'm going to go into some LA riots talk. And if you don't like the current event stuff, turn it off there. This is your warning. Thank you to all my members. I appreciate you guys so much. This month, somebody will win a Energy Fuel pack from Coach Rob. And then everybody is entered to win the XQi3 motorcycle that we're giving away in December. So somebody will win a motorcycle, and hopefully you can come out and ride with me. All of you guys that ride dirt bikes, we have aches and pains. And I'm telling you, Nano-Xtreme is by far the best thing I've ever used. I use it all the time. I got all my family members using it. It is a blessing. In the world of opiates, please give Nano-Xtreme a try and ditch those opiates. Use code COOKSY for free shipping. If you just want to buy some energy fuel from Coach Rob, this is the best hydration drink you'll have in hot days. I'm telling you, head over to Complete Racing Solutions and get yourself an energy fuel packet. If you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport. This is a shipping company that believes in customer service. They're family owned. They're just good people. So hit up pretransport.com if you need to ship anything.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So MX Sports and Feld might have reached a new low. And these guys, they've had some low down stuff before. I mean, Kenneth Feld hired a former CIA agent to destroy the life of a journalist. Davey Coombs had a known sex offender renting golf carts at Loretta Lynn's. And instead of freaking out about it and going, oh my gosh, we needed to check, he defended the family's name instead of calling out the sex offender. This is Feld, a company who dumped lime onto the track in San Diego, ruined so much equipment, injured riders, and they just gave them a quick little, oh, here's a little bonus, go away. That was it. We never heard anything else about it. It's crazy that these guys do these evil things and just get away with it. Did I mention they kicked out the Road to Recovery? This is a nonprofit organization designed to help riders who've been injured like Jerry Robin, Chad Sauls, Mike Brown, and Feld thought they were hurting their merchandise sales, so they kicked them out of the pits. Yep, true story. So when I hear this story about the chaplain, bear with me, I'm a little suspect. So I talked to a team manager, and they told me that there's a chaplain that goes around, and he talks to all the riders, he lets them confide in him, and he goes to all the Supercross races and all the outdoor races. And he is the line between the riders and the promotion. Essentially, he's their voice of reason and to talk about things and deal with injuries and some of the stuff that riders have to deal with. This is a man of God. People trust a man of God. And now I find out he's on the payroll of both Feld and MX Sports. They pay him to be at the races and report back to them what information he finds about the injured riders, about the state of the families of these injured riders, and just everything. He is their eyes and ears. So they pay for him to go to all the races. This is a company that freaked out over, Road to Recovery selling shirts, if you did a $50 donation, you got a gift bag. They were worried that would cut into their merchandise sales. And MX Sports, they're so cheap that village idiot Tim Cotter,
it's a Chamber of Commerce day,
crashes a Rhino, cost Josh Grant his career, essentially. He got to race after that, but that was his big shot with Team Honda, and he never really got to race because Tim Cotter, the idiot that he is,
it's a Chamber of Commerce day,
wrecked a Rhino and landed it on his leg. They offered him a case of beer and a bottle of wine. That was their settlement.
The day before the race, because Tim flipped the damn side-by-side on top of us because they didn't properly mark the track. And as much as I don't want to say it, but Davey Coombs offered me a case of beer and a bottle of wine to cover the damages,
Well, that seems like a fair trade.
So when I hear they're paying out of their own goodness of their own hearts this chaplain to go to all the events and be there for the riders, talk to the families, and get their input on everything, I'm a little suspicious. There's a chance I'm dead wrong on this. And maybe they are doing it out of the goodness of their heart. Maybe they are people of God. Maybe they trust in this chaplain. Maybe this chaplain is doing all good. But you see why I'm suspicious? Now, I haven't talked to the chaplain yet, and hopefully I will soon. But I don't think he's even in on it. I think he is genuinely a man of God who thinks he's doing the right thing and feeding information to the promoters and helping the riders. I truly believe this chaplain thinks he's doing a good job. Where the bad part is I think that Davey Coombs and Feld have recognized, almost all powerful people have realized how much power religion has. If you want to control people, control their religion. Throughout time, evil people have used faith and religion to control the masses. And unfortunately, that's what I see here. I don't see them doing this out of the goodness of their heart. I feel like this chaplain is feeding back all this information so they have a pulse on where the riders are at. If a rider's injured, is their family thinking about suing? I think they're just getting inside information from this chaplain. I don't think the chaplain's in on it though. Let me ask you this. Why would an organization that doesn't offer health coverage, doesn't offer profit sharing, refuses to hire a full-time flagging staff, they take volunteers at each rounds, they were worried about merchandise sales, so they kicked out Road to Recovery. Do you guys see them doing anything for the benefit of the riders without them getting something from it? So yeah, it seems like they're doing something dirty and they're using this chaplain to pump information to keep their finger on the pulse of the families and riders that they are exploiting. And what better way to do it with a chaplain? Somebody people confide in, somebody people truly trust. If this is what I think it is, this is one of the most evil things those guys have done. And like I said, I could be wrong, but with the history of stupid things that they've done and the way they've tried to manipulate people and control this series and control our love for the sport, I'm a little bit suspicious. So hopefully I can get to talk to this chaplain soon. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's all in good health and maybe they are just trying to help out the sport and help out the families, but I suspect there's more to it. I have a feeling if they weren't pumping him for information and getting this inside information, they would make it public that they pay. When have they ever done anything for the riders and not wanted credit for it? That just doesn't it seem weird that they're doing something really cool by paying a chaplain to be at all these races and not telling us what they're doing for the riders? That is very un-Feld and MX Sports-like to not take credit for something that they're doing good. So yeah, I'm a little suspicious. I sure hope I'm wrong, because that would be that would be really disheartening to know that they're using faith and religion to keep an eye on the riders and teams and families. Wow, that would be next level garbage. So maybe don't pass judgment quite yet, but I'm very suspicious and I want to talk to this chaplain and I want to get some more information. And if anyone else knows any more information about this, please reach out to me. Check out Ride Strapped, goggles, glasses, shirts, just a really cool company that I love being associated with. Head over to Ride Strapped, get yourself a red pill shirt. Any day now, the Alias MX 2026 gear will be arriving. Head over to Alias MX, check out what they've got, and order it quick because it's going to go fast. So a lot of you guys hate when I do this. You call it a motocross channel. It's not a motocross channel. This is just my channel. I talk about whatever I want, but I usually stick to motocross stuff. This is not motocross. If you don't like talking about some current events, because I do dip in there once in a while, just turn it off now. So I can't help but get fired up when I see these riots and the things going on in Los Angeles and these other big cities and these protests about ICE. First off, I don't understand it. Almost everybody I talk to is okay with deportation of undocumented immigrants. They came here illegally. There's a way to do it the right way, and I know we need some improvements in that system, but coming over here and burning the flag and saying death to America and raising your old country's flag is not the way to get that done. That is only going to make people want to kick them out even worse. But then a lot of people are going to go, wait, but there's so many people protesting. It must be bad, right? No, not really. Let me explain to you how these protests work. First off, they hire companies. Protests, they're outsourced. So they attack people on the internet. They use mob mentality as a weapon. That's 100% a weapon of these evil people. When I talk about these evil people, I'm talking about Bill Gates, George Soros, and a bunch of guys I've probably never heard of who are getting money from those NGOs. Remember all those ones that were random NGOs and we didn't know where the money was going? Those guys, they fund these organizations and they hire protesters to carry out stuff that meets their agenda. As human beings, when you go into a room, if every single person appears to think one way, it is really hard to go the other way because you have to think like, oh, all these people, they must be right. It is our natural herd mentality that we have. We want to go along with the group because we assume more people, well, not everyone can be wrong, right? And you assume the other person is going to be the one that stands up for what is correct. So what these organizations do is they pay people to go on the internet. So if somebody does a post and it's not with their agenda, they'll attack them. And they've done this for years now with all the COVID stuff. Anytime you did a post, you were attacked by all these bots and paid for protesters that just go in there, and they're paid to just go in and talk trash on your post. That is to turn the mob mentality. So if somebody clicks on that post, they go, oh, wow. And then they read the comments, they go, wow, nobody believes that. It must be wrong. When in reality, it's a group changing that narrative. The actual group feels more like what the post was. So these evil bastards in the deep state that have their own agenda, who have funded all our politicians and are pulling the strings, George Soros, Bill Gates, and a bunch of guys I've probably never heard of because they're staying hidden and just financing the mayhem and watching. We are cattle to them. They do not care about us at all. They do not care. We are chess pieces. They sit back. They feel like they're better than us. They feel like they are kings and queens, and we're just ants running around, and they just got to steer us the way they want. So the way these protests work is they get a whole bunch of people, they send them to a protest. Do you think all these idiots at the protest made those big signs and those professional-looking signs on their own? No, a lot of people are getting paid $20 or $30 an hour to be down there. Then what happens is once you get a big group, now you can control that mentality. Now everybody walking by goes, oh, wow, look at all those people that feel that way. They must be right, because it's that mob mentality that creeps in. You think, wow, okay, well, maybe there is a real injustice happening here, and nobody wants to let an injustice go without standing up, especially if everyone around you is doing the same thing. And whenever you're in a group of emotionally charged people and a large group, that energy is contagious. And all it takes is a few troublemakers to start antagonizing and crossing the line, and it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. People are more apt to do things they would never do in a group. Like if you ask somebody to throw a rock at a cop car, they're going to be like, you're crazy. I'm not doing that. That's stupid. Put them in a group of 300 people where other people have already thrown rocks. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. That is the mob mentality that they're feeding off of. But it's how they get these protests started, which is the evil part. And who doesn't want to be part of a group that's taking on tyrants? And when you feel like you have a good cause, of course you want to get out there and fight for it. We all have that in us. It feels good to go out there and rally and rage against the machine. The problem is these evil people have recognized how to take you and steer you on their agenda. And that's the problem. Real immigrants who've come over here from these horrible places and escaped horrible lifestyles, they love the United States. They do not want to shit on their new flag. They don't. Yes, they'll respect their heritage and where they're from, but they appreciate the opportunities that are being given in the United States. So these paid protesters start getting a group together, and like I said, then come in the useful idiots and these people who just want to be a part of a good cause, and they don't actually know. If you go ask most of those protesters what the actual issues are, they don't know. They're just mad. They're just mad, and they want to break something, and they want to fix something, and they want somebody. We all have that inside of us. And when it gets in these big groups, these people have realized if you can create enough excitement around, you can pull in all the useful idiots. And that's what's happening in Los Angeles. Look at how many people have talked about immigration reform for years. And, open borders not the solution. It is not the solution. We can't do that. That's just not going to work. Obama, Clinton, everybody said the same thing. But now people have Trump derangement syndrome. I don't care how you feel about Trump. Just because he's doing something that has been needed to be done for a long time, you hate it because it's him? Take his face off of the immigration movement, put Obama's on, and most of those protesters are like, oh, it's a great idea. They would totally defend it. I wish they could remove their hatred for the orange man and just look at the issues as issues. And I'll tell you what, these idiots standing in front of cars, they really need to change this law. If you stand in front of my vehicle and I try to go around you and you jump in front of me, I should be 100% allowed to run you over. Cars are giant weapons. Imagine if these people stood in front of you and you took a loaded gun and pointed it right in their face. Do you think they'd still stand there? What they don't understand is that's what they're doing with a car. They just feel some sort of protection because people are nice and they don't want to run them over. Change that law and say, hey, listen, if you can't just run people over randomly, but if you are blocking the car and the car has made multiple efforts to go around you and you stay in front of them, you should be allowed to run them over. That would end that. And I'm all for protesting and fighting against injustice. The problem is most of these people don't even know what they're fighting for. They have not a clue. Now, if these protesters who are out there could break down the issues and tell me exactly what specifically they're mad about, most of them can't, fine, go for it. Pick it. Don't stand in front of people's cars that need to go to work. Don't break things. Don't destroy our beautiful country. You do that, you're just a criminal. You are not a protester. You are a criminal. So don't let the major news fool you. 86% of the Americans agree with the deportation tactics of the Trump administration. That's 86%. Sure doesn't look that way when you watch the news, but that's the trick. They're trying to make it seem like more people like this than don't. That's that mob mentality, and that's how they've been able to control people, and that's what they do. So don't stand in front of my car. I'll deal with it in court after I run you over. Thanks, guys. I appreciate everything. Here's your member of the day.